This is CodingBat Java AP-1 userCompare. The problem statement reads, we have data for two users, A and B, each with string name and an int ID. The goal is to order the users such as for sorting. Return -1 if A comes before B, 1 if A comes after B, and 0 if they are the same. Order first by the string names, and then by the ID numbers if the names are the same. Note, with strings, str1.compare to str2 returns an int value which is -0 or positive to indicate how strings str1 is ordered to str2. The value is not limited to -1, 0, or 1. On the AP, there will be two user objects, but here the code simply takes the two strings and two ints directly. The code logic is the same. In our first test case here, we have the A name equal to BB, our A index is equal to 1, our B name is equal to ZZ, and BID is equal to 2. Because BB comes before ZZ, which we check first, it returns -1 because A is less than B. Here we have BB, 1, AA, and 2. Because the A name is after B name, we return 1. Here we have BB1, BB1. Because the two are the same names, we then go on to check their indexes, or IDs. And because they're also the same, we're going to get 0. So first we have to check between the two names. So if A name dot compare to B name is equal to 0, so this is if they're the same, then we're going to be doing, then we're going to be checking for the ID. So if then AID here is less than BID, then we have to return -1. Then we also have to check else if AID is greater than BID, then we return 1. And if both of these are not true, then we return 0 because that means that both of them are equal to each other. Now, if A name dot compare to B name is less than 0, which means it's negative, that means A name comes before B name, so we just return -1. Or if A name dot compare to B name is greater than 0, then we return -1. And we need the else if here because, or we need the else here. We actually don't need to have this if, we can just have else, because if they're not equal and they're not greater, or not less, then they have to be greater than. So we have to return 1 here. And that should be all correct.